Hi everyone, and welcome to Willow Cove Crafts, my channel here on YouTube where I talk about knitting and sewing and my other crafty endeavors. My name is Emily, and you can find me on both Ravelry and Instagram as Willow Cove Crafts. Today is Saturday, May 28th, and I am coming to you from just outside of Madison in Verona, Wisconsin. As I chatted about during my last video, I am planning on changing up the format of this channel moving forward. I am going to do more of a traditional knitting sewing podcast once a month. You can expect that next week. And in the middle, I will be filming designated finished object videos as I finish things up. And today is the first one of those videos because I have finished something and it is what I am wearing. So today's video is going to be all about my brand new Magnolia dress. I decided a couple months ago to make this dress as a wedding guest dress. The wedding I am attending, two of my friends are getting married and it's actually tonight. So I am getting this video filmed so I can go get ready for the wedding. But yes, I, lately have been really into, I'm kind of a newer garment sewer. So I've just been using special events as markers to make different dresses. So this was no exception. When I was thinking about making this, I wanted something that would work for a more formal event, such as a wedding, but that would also transition nicely into day-to-day wear. So I wanted something that, depending on how you style it, could work in both settings because I want to get away from making things that I just wear one time. I made a dress last summer for my birthday party and I haven't worn it since. It's just like a little too bright, it's a little too crazy for me. And I kind of knew that going in. However, it does make me a little sad that I spent all this time making something and I only wore it once. So I'm trying to get away from that. So again, going into my decision process around this dress, I wanted something that will work well for formal occasions as well as day-to-day wear. As I mentioned at the beginning, this dress is the Magnolia dress by Deer and Doe Patterns. Here is the pattern envelope. As you can see, it comes with two different views. View A has a long elasticated sleeve, more of a plunging neckline, and then a longer maxi skirt with a slit up the front. And then view B, which is the one that I made, is a shorter skirt length, less of a plunging neckline, and then it has these really cute flutter sleeves. I do also think after making this dress that the armholes are, sometimes you make dresses and the armholes kind of gape until you put the sleeves on. I thought that this dress fit very well before I put the sleeves on, which makes me think that if you wanted to, you could probably also make a sleeveless version. This pattern goes from a size 34 up to a size 52, which is intended to fit a bust size of 31 and a half up to 45 and a half. Something to keep in mind. So I bought the paper pattern because I thought I would treat myself and save myself the hassle of assembling a PDF pattern. And this is clearly stated on their website, but I just wasn't paying attention. The paper pattern, so Deer and Doe offers paper patterns sometimes, and then PDF patterns as well. The paper pattern only goes up to a size 46, which is intended to fit a bust of 41 inches. Their extended sizes are only available in the PDF. So I bought this, was very excited to actually have a physical pattern that I could trace and, again, avoid that annoying step of assembling your PDF paper pattern. And I realized pretty quickly looking at this that I was outside of the sizes specified in this pattern. So this pattern does come in my size, just not the pre-printed pattern. So I had to then go ahead and also buy the PDF version so that I could print it and assemble it, which was a bit sad. I think the history there is that Deer and Doe used to only offer their patterns up through a size 46. I think in the last several years they have extended their size range. And I think in general, independent pattern designers are moving more towards PDF. It's more convenient. So yeah, something to keep in mind if you are on the larger size end of Deer and Doe patterns. You're gonna probably have to get the PDF version in order to get your size. That being said, while they have extended their size ranges, I made the largest size, the size 52, because I have a 45-inch bust. And I thought that was a little odd to be making the largest size in a pattern. I am not the smallest person in the world. However, I don't think I'm the largest either. And so the fact that I am making the largest size, I think, means that this pattern is maybe not the most size inclusive. Like I said, Deer and Doe has done some work in the last few years to expand their size range, and I really hope to see them continue to do that and offer even larger sizes than what they do currently. Another note on sizing with the Deer and Doe patterns, I have made several Deer and Doe dress patterns at this point. I do believe that they draft for a larger cup size. I think the standard is a B cup. Deer and Doe does draft for a D cup. I feel like I read that somewhere, and I think it's, anecdotally in my experience is true. A lot of times I have to do bust adjustments on patterns because I have a larger chest, but I do not have to do that with the Deer and Doe patterns. In fact, I would venture to say that this dress is fitting a little loosely at the top. I maybe could have sized down for the top of the dress, or, done a small bust adjustment. Ultimately, I think it's completely fine and it fits great. But if you do have a larger chest, I really like Deer and Doe patterns for the fact that they do draft for a bit of a larger chest and you don't have to do a lot of the same adjustments that you might have to do for other pattern designers. There are so many great design elements in this pattern that I want to draw your attention to. The first and most obvious one, if you make view B, is the flutter sleeve. I think these sleeves are such a statement. They make this dress really stand out, and they're just so fun to play with. In addition to the flutter sleeve, there's also a princess seam on the front bodice. It's a little hard to see in my fabric, but trust me, it is there, and it really makes a nice fit around the bust line. There's also some back darts to give some additional shaping. That, I believe, is necessary because this is a faux wrap dress. It's not a true wrap dress because there is a defined waistband, but you've got your waist tie, and then those back darts add a little bit of extra shaping. The skirt is also sewn in panels. There are 6 total panels that come together to make the skirt, 3 for the front and 3 for the back. And it does a good job of making a very full and flowy skirt. The fabric I used for this dress is a black floral viscose that I purchased from Mercerie, which is I don't know if they have a brick and mortar store, but they are an online French fabric shop. I went and had a look at Mercerie's website, and it does not appear that they sell this fabric anymore. So unfortunately, I don't know if you will be able to buy any yourself. And then I also tried to look up some details on the fabric. The Mercerie, like I said, is a French website, and their website is entirely in French. So I do think even if I was able to find my receipt, which I looked for, I don't know if I'd be able to make much sense of it because it is, like I said, in French. I speak a little bit of French, like very little, like French 101 back in high school over 10 years ago. But I recognize words here and there. I do think even though Mercerie's website is in French, it is pretty easy to navigate. I have, I'm assuming, I guess, but a lot of the words for fabric in French are very similar to the words in English. So, tissue, I think is how you say it, is fabric. So if you see that word, it's fabric. And then, the rest, cotton, viscose, tencel, linen, I think it's pretty easy to kind of use your best judgment and make some assumptions about what certain words mean. And then obviously there's always Google Translate, but as a very minimally speaking French person, I was able to go to their website and navigate around and find some really great fabric. And they have a huge selection. I really, really love that store. I did make a couple modifications and try some new techniques in making this dress. The very first and most obvious one is that I have never sewn with a viscose or rayon fabric before. I've been a little afraid of it because it is a bit more slippery than, say, cotton or linen. I found it super pleasant to work with. My recommendations would be to, use more pins than you're maybe used to and to just go slowly on your sewing machine. And I did not have any trouble. I would not say that sewing with a rayon or viscose is really any more difficult than sewing with a cotton, as long as you take the time, before sewing to really pin and make sure everything is in place. My other new technique that I tried out for this dress that I've never done before is making bias binding out of the fabric that I used. I have always just gone to Joann Fabrics and purchased pre-made bias binding. And I didn't want to do that with this dress because the stuff that they sell at the big box craft stores is a little thicker and heavier. And obviously this fabric is super drapey and lightweight. And I thought that using that thick, heavy bias binding would not look as good as if I made some from the fabric itself. So I found a tutorial online. There's hundreds of them probably. And I made some bias binding and it was super easy, and I feel like it turned out really well and it looks really nice and it adds a great finish to the inside of your garment. As far as modifications are concerned, I did, as I always seem to do, fully French seam this dress. I do not have a serger. I am thinking about purchasing one at some point, but for now I don't have one. And even if I did, I do think those lighter weight fabrics, such as silk and viscose, look really, really good with a neat French seam. So I did that on this dress. Even the princess seam, even the sleeves, I do find that if the fabric is a little bit finer, there is no problem French seaming any sort of curve. So I did that. Additionally, I've mentioned on this channel so many times, but I am fairly tall. I'm 5'9", and so I often have to add length to things. So I did add a little bit of length to the bodice. I believe I added 1 3/4 inches. I'm starting to realize I've made enough things at this point where I think for me, from underarm to, the smallest part of my waist is 7.5 inches. I feel like that is a really good number for me. Obviously, if something's oversized or, not a traditional set-in sleeve, there has to be some adjustments there. But if we've got a fitted bodice, standard sleeve, I think 7.5 inches is my golden number. So I'm gonna experiment with that a little bit and see, the next couple dresses I make, if that number holds true. I also lengthened the skirt a little bit. I do not think I had to do this. I think the skirt as is was a good length. I wanted this dress to just be a little bit longer than it was originally intended and hit closer to my knee. It's just so flowy, and the flutter sleeves give me this 70s vibe, and so I thought a slightly longer skirt would fit that a little bit better than something that hit above the knee. The other thing I did, and I must admit that this was a little bit of cowardice on my part, this dress does have a side zipper, and I omitted it. I didn't think I need it. I was able to fit the dress over my head without the zipper, and so I just kind of thought, what's the point of putting in a zipper if you don't actually need one for fit? And then again, it does have that tie, and so, I'm able to pull it over my head. The tie really cinches it in at the waist. I didn't actually see the need for a zipper, but also, if I'm being honest, I'm a little afraid of the zipper. I've never inserted one into any of the garments I have made. It seems pretty easy. I know that I just have to bite the bullet and try it sometime, but I was also particularly nervous about putting a zipper into such a fine fabric. I was worried it would weigh it down or look bulky. So if you have experience with that, let me know. Is there a particular brand of zipper you use for finer fabrics? Or, I bought a zipper off of Amazon and it looks pretty standard. I don't know if zippers come in light or heavy weights. So if you know the answer to that, please let me know so that when the day comes where I have to put a zipper in, I am prepared and knowledgeable. As far as styling this dress is concerned, like I mentioned, I did make this for a wedding. And for the wedding, I am gonna keep things pretty simple. I do think the dress in and of itself is a big statement. Again, those flutter sleeves, it's got this kind of busy floral print. So I don't want to detract from that too much. I am planning on wearing the necklaces that I'm wearing currently, just some simple gold jewelry. I'm definitely more of a gold than a silver person, but I do think that this dress would pair nicely with any sort of simple metal jewelry that you happen to have. I also picked some simple kind of beige sandals that I bought recently. I'm not a high heel person. I definitely am more of a flats and sandals type of person. So I got this really cute pair of summer sandals to go with this dress. I do think for day-to-day wear, this dress could be a great layering piece. I did find, because the sleeves are so voluminous, it does have a little bit of a tricky time fitting into jackets. So something to keep in mind. I do think a more oversized outer layer would work better, just, logistically with these sleeves. I did pair it, if it gets chilly tonight, I am packing up my denim jacket to potentially wear over the top of this. I think it looks really cute. The jacket does hide the tie in the back, but I do think the great thing about the way this dress is constructed is that you could take the tie and tie it in the front if you wanted to as well. Again, because this is a faux wrap dress, not a true wrap dress, you can put that tie really wherever you want. My other idea for styling this dress is more as a fall winter piece. I do think it would look really great with boots and tights. And then also, an oversized cardigan to go over the top. This is a store-bought cardigan. It is not one I knit, but I'm thinking I might need to knit a nice oversized beige cardigan because I feel like it would go with a lot of my dresses in my wardrobe. And I think that is everything I wanted to say about the Magnolia dress. Overall, I'm so happy with how this pattern turned out. I'm so happy with all of the new skills I learned in making this dress. And I encourage you all to give it a try if you are in the market for, a fun, flirty summer dress. So thank you so much for joining me today. Remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all again probably next week for my May Makes episode. Thanks everyone. I'll talk to you later.